29 वही AC एयर कंडीशनर फिल्टर्स 29
सो क्या आएगा क्या?
हाँ
समझा
प्लीज स्नैप करना बहुत गर्मी
किया कब?
कितने
27
देखो पता है 25 या 24 ज्यादा हीट हवा आती है थोड़ी 24 से नीचे कूल हवा आती है देखो ये एसी ऑन हो रहा है
फिर अंदर बैठना
Or tuition. Okay, thank you. Very nice of you. I'll be back in 1 hour. Perfect. Thanks. Yeah, I'm half dead. Yeah, thank you. Perfect. Yeah. नहीं इसका सीजन नहीं चलो या चेक करेंगे थैंक यू बाय अच्छा Stop so cute.
Wow. If anybody have textbook with you?
Only one.
So here when we are talking about manifestos, they will raise some slogans.
मैम सॉरी टू से चुपचाप एसी ऑन कर
On
बहुत
है,
वेट कर
on है।
24 पे कर मुझे नहीं पता
27 पे है।
24 पे
थोड़ी देर में कर
नहीं
दूंगी
कुछ
on में।
मैं कब से वेट कर रहा हूँ बहुत हो गया
ठंड लग रही है यार।
जैकेट लेके आया कर अपना मुझे कुछ नहीं पता
तो मैं गले पे कूलर लगा के घूम को नहीं जम रहा
चुपचाप एसी ऑन कर
को नहीं जम रहा
मैम
चला मैं खड़े होकर ऑफ कर दूंगी फिर चलाते
मैं
हैं
सच्ची बोल रहा हूँ चुपचाप बैठ जा
तब से चुपचाप ही बैठे हो
इधर हो इसके बाद
ये दो
5 मिनट
मैं
रुकिए,
नहीं
5 मिनट वापिस 5
मैं-
मिनट
भाई मैं
फालतू में इसको डांटेगा और बैठना तो बाहर जाके बैठना
क्यों बैठूंगा बाहर जाके
क्यों बैठना
So,
जैकेट लाया करना ब्रो
after some time you
मैम लास्ट पीरियड भी जैसे वेट कर करके मैम मैंने फिर अभी थोड़ी देर ऑन किया मैं 10 मिनट बाद बंद कर
see in that part there are certain slogans people used. Some political parties used slogans. That slogans you have to remember. What are the slogans? In the Lok Sabha election of 1971, Congress party gave the slogan "Garibi Hatao."
and then this Janta something gave a land to the tillers Telugu
Yes. No, land to the tiller was Bengal Assembly में left front in India. Yes.
Now what's this page number?
It's 45. That you have to learn. Protect the self-respect of Telugus. That was the Telugu Desam Party, N.T. Ramadas. Land to the tiller in West Bengal Assembly elections of 1977. Then Save Democracy was the slogan given by Janata Party.
Yeah.
Okay, that is page number 45. That slogans you have to. Now, in a democracy, political parties and candidates should be free to conduct the election campaigns in the way they want. But there are certain code of conduct what they should do and how they should do. That is called the code of conduct.
Yeah.
Understood?
मैंने बहुत वेट किया पिछले पीरियड में पिछले
तो फिर ऊपर से करके से चलता है code of conduct. See, according to the election law, no party candidate can bribe or threaten voters. That is 4 points are there. No party can bribe or threaten voters, appeal to them in the name of caste or religion, use government resources for election campaign, spend more than 25 lakh in a constituency for Lok Sabha election and 10 lakh in the constituency in an assembly election. All these 4 points you have. These are the conditions to regulate the election campaign. Okay. Now, model code of conduct. What is that? According to this, no party or candidate can use any place of worship for election propaganda. Use government vehicles, aircrafts, and officials for election. Once elections are announced, ministers shall not lay foundation stones of any project, take any big policy decision, or make any promises of providing public facilities. That is a method of canvassing the voters. If such kind of announcement is made, that will persuade the voters to vote in their favor. That is why these all things should be stopped. Once election date is announced, nothing can be done. Clear? That is called the model code of conduct. Is it clear?
Yes.
These all things, that is small question type, it can come. Then we have seen polling and counting of votes, declaration of the result. Now we have, I think, the last part, the election commission. I think the textbook also that part is the last now. Election commission and the working of election commission. Afterwards.
What makes elections irrelevant?
Irrelevant. Okay. That will, after discussing that, we will see all that process. Now, we have an independent election commission that make Indian election democratic. Independent election commission is just like the judiciary. It is
Not answerable to the president.
yes, any political authority, it is not answerable. So that is what the power they enjoy. That is why it can conduct the election free and fair manner. Now, once if the officers are put in charge of election duty, that person are working or persons are working under the election commission, not for the institution they are. See, if I am a teacher and I am working for the school, if I am appointed on election duty, I have to work as an election officer only, that is under the election commission. I should not do anything in favor of that school or whatever it is. So that is what they only, election commission only decide what way that person should work. That means the appointed person should work. The order of the election commission is final. Once if the duty is allotted, we cannot tell that we can't do the duty. It is, they have collected already the details of the workers and the duty is also allotted. So now once you got the duty, you cannot change it. Clear? Now, I'll tell you one example. If a person, a teacher, is not able to work freely or that some health issues are there, after getting the duty, if they are going and telling that I am not able to do the duty, then how can you come and teach? This is the question asked by the election commission. So if you can come to school and work, why can't you do this duty? So this way, election commission is such an independent body enjoying all powers. Nobody can control it. Then another thing we have seen, already I have told you, election commission now consists of 3 commissioners. One is chief election commissioner and the 2. So Chief Election Commission only mostly taking the decision, and if there is any dispute, it will be put to vote. The other two person also will vote, and which decision got the majority, that decision will be taken. Clear? Now, that is what make Indian election democratic. That means the powerful election commission. Second is that powers of the election commission, working of the election commission. Yes, you just read independent election commission. That fully you have to read.
Yeah.
Next powers you have to read. Then working of the election commission. Then you will get another part. Huh?
So what makes election in India democratic? Also that, right? We get to read a lot about unfair practices in elections. There is no denying the fact that some people indulge in unfair practices during elections in India. Newspapers and television reports often refer to such allegations. Most of these reports are about the following: inclusion of false names and exclusion of genuine names in the voters list.
Okay, this is one way of election, that is wrong election practice. Okay, next.
Misuse of government facilities and officials by the ruling party, excessive use of money by rich candidates and big parties who openly distribute clothes and even wine among people, especially the poor people, to buy their votes, intimidation of voters and rigging on the polling day.
These two things, intimidation. What is the meaning of intimidation?
Scaring them.
That is
Forcing them
forcing them to, that is by threatening.
or by use of power.
Then second is that we have seen rigging and booth capturing. See, already I told you electronic voting machine, how many votes are casted, it is very much clear. So, if any votes are added, if they are that election booth, some parties personnel are working and they are putting some votes and remove the other votes. So that is called rigging. Booth capturing was also there earlier time. Means capturing.
Also, people would pick up the ballot boxes and run around and take them.
One booth is captured or some areas are captured by the booths of that political.
Someone just running around with a box.
Clear?
Some unsocial elements try to capture votes and cast votes on behalf of illiterate rural people. Some of the above allegations may be correct, but this does not mean that we should discard democracy. But fortunately, they are not on such a scale so as to defeat the very purpose of elections. This becomes clear if we ask a basic question. Can a party with an election has come to power not because it has popular support but through electoral malpractices? Every effort has been made to curb these wrong practices. Independent Election Commission. Election in a democratic setup plays a very important role. Hence, there is great necessity of an independent body to hold free and fair elections. This body is called the Election Commission.
Okay. What is Election Commission definition? You understood? Now you.
Importance of the Election Commission in our country. Elections are conducted by an independent and very powerful Election Commission.
All these points are important. Not about election commission.
It enjoys the same kind of independence that the judiciary enjoys. The Chief Election Commissioner, CEC, is appointed by the President of India. But once appointed, the Chief Election Commissioner is not answerable to the President or the government. Even if the ruling party or the government does not like what the Commission does, it is virtually impossible for it to remove the CEC.
Chief Commissioner.
Chief
Election powers.
Now powers.
Powers of the Election Commission of India. Very few elections commissions in the world have such wide-ranging powers as the Election Commission of India. EC take decisions on every aspect of conduct and control of elections from the announcement of elections to the
Are you marking
declaration
that
of
points?
results.
All these points have to be marked. Okay.
It implements the code of conduct and punishes any candidate or party that violates it. During the election period, the EC can order the government to follow some guidelines to prevent use and misuse of governmental power to enhance its chances to win elections or to transfer some government officials. When on election duty, government officers work under the control of EC and not the government.
Okay, understood, no? These are things I have already told you. You.
What?
Working.
Working of
Yeah, working of the election commission. In the last 15 years or so, the election commission has begun to exercise all its powers and even expand them. It is very common now for the election commission to reprimand the government and administration for their lapses. When election officials come to the opinion that polling is not fair in some booths or even an entire constituency, they order a revote. The ruling parties often do not like what the EC does, but they have to obey. This would not have happened if the EC was not independent and powerful.
Sometimes, if election commission feel that in some polling booths or some areas there is misuse of power. So, election commission can declare that particular areas vote null and void and declare pre-poll.
No,
Understood?
but the president only appoints the election commissioner. He can easily put someone who will be
No,
willing
no,
to work
no.
for him.
Actually, this appointment is done on the basis of the recommendation made by Prime Minister and Cabinet. On the basis of that proficiency. Okay. Once they are appointed, they cannot do anything in favor of the government. Understood? This president normally act as a rubber stamp only. What the government tells only that person can do. But once appointed, even that the chief justice also appointed by the president. But that chief justice or the judges are not obeying the words of the government or president. So that is what the procedure already made. That much power is given. Understood? 1 minute. So, the first thing to make India's election democratic, the first one is what? Independent Election Commission. About the Independent Election Commission, so many things we have studied. Understood or not? What are the powers of the Election Commission? How that processes are done? Now the second thing about this election, what make that election democratic is popular participation. What is the meaning of popular participation? Have you seen any rallies, political parties rallies?
Yes.
So public join the rally. Voluntarily they are joining. Some of them may be the members of that political party, some are not at all the members of the party. But they join voluntarily, there is no force. This participation is one of the best example to prove that India's election is democratic. Understood? Now, Next is about voter turnout. What is the meaning of voter turnout? I have told you about that election polling booth, people come to vote. The number or the percentage of the people who come to vote is known as voter turnout. How many percentage or how many people come to vote? That is showing
In the voters.
folder. And at the same time, the curiosity to use the right to vote. That is voter turnout. You just read two more points, but before that, this part, this page you read popular participation and importance of voter turnout.
Popular participation. Another way to ensure the quality of election process is to ensure that more and more people take part in the elections. Importance of voter turnout. People's participation in election usually measured by voter turnout figures. Turnout indicates the percent of eligible voters who actually cast their vote. Over the last 50 years, the turnout in Europe and North America has declined. In India, the turnout has either remained stable or actually gone up.
See, in India, that voter turnout becomes stable or it decline.
Increase no, in India.
In India, not increased. You just see that
It's remained stable or
gone up.
Hmm.
You just see that.
For other countries, it has declined.
Wait. You just see that 48 page voter turnout in India.
What? The bar graph is being given.
It's
UK
increased.
and India.
In India, poor, illiterate, and underprivileged people vote in larger proportion as compared to the rich and the privileged section. Do you have the textbook?
This is
This is in contrast to Western democracies. For example, United States of America, poor people, African Americans, and Hispanics vote much less than the rich and the white people.
Why Hispanic?
And Hispanic, this gypsies type. That understood.
common people.
They go by
Common people in India attach a lot of importance to elections. They feel that through elections they can bring pressure on political parties to adopt policies and programs favorable to them. They also feel that their vote matters in the way things are run in the country.
So the people think that their vote is making the difference. See, people are dare enough to tell that because of my vote you are here. But in the real sense, that particular person may not have voted to that party, but they show the enthusiasm in voting as well as they are free to express their right to vote or whatever is that freedom to express that the people are using, especially in India. The other countries, it is limited to that higher ups, but in India, it is majority of the voters or those who are using the right to vote are poor people, illiterate people and all. So they think that their vote matters. Because of my vote, you are there. So we have voted and it's your duty to give us. So this kind of understanding make the election democracy. Okay.
The interest of voters in election-related activities has been increasing over the years. During the 2004 elections, more than one-third voters took part in campaign-related activities. More than half of the people identified themselves as being close to one or the other political party. 1 out of every 7 voters is a member of a political party.
So how their participation is coming? One is that election related activities. Already I have told you rallies and other things. They participate. They show their support. Secondly, that some people are, there is around that 1/3 of the people are members of one or other political party. Then 1 out of every 7 voter is a member of political party. This shows participation, public participation. The acceptance. Right? You.
One final test of the free and fairness. One final test of the free and fairness of election is in the outcome itself. If elections are not free or fair, the outcome always favors the powerful. In such a situation, the ruling parties do not lose elections. Usually, the losing party does not accept the outcome of a rigid election. The outcome of India's election speaks for itself. The ruling parties routinely lose elections in India, both at the national and the state level. In fact, in every 2 of the 3 elections held in the last 15 years, the ruling party lost. If the elections in India would not have been free and fair, ruling parties would have never lost the elections. In the US, an incumbent or sitting elected representative rarely loses an election. In India, about half of the sitting MPs or MLAs lose elections. Candidates who are known to have spent a lot of money on buying votes and those with known criminal connections often lose elections. Mostly, it has been seen that the people and the candidates contesting elections are satisfied with the election results. Bearing with very few disputed elections, the electoral outcomes are usually accepted as people's verdict by the defeated party.
See, what is that?
But in the last election,
Ah.
it was not accepted as people's verdict, as they're saying here. Rahul Gandhi himself had came out with a lot of interviews along with a lot of opposition party ministers, saying how the elections were rigged or the EVMs were what do you call it, hacked or there was something wrong, and everybody who would vote for their party would directly vote for BJP.
That way, somewhere it was proved also. Means you just take one polling booth. If all the votes are going to one person,
Yeah.
if you are a member of one political party, you voted to your party only, but it is going to some other person. So that way it was given and filed a case also. They did not get the sufficient proof and all because the ruling government will have so many ways to.
You see the sports events are like that.
Okay. So what is that? In election, what is the outcome? The political party and the government is ready to accept or forced to accept. Many times the ruling party loses
A lot of time.
Many.
Because usually after every first or second term, we'll lose election. Then
So that shows that they are accepting. But in some other countries, the incumbent is continuously in power. So that means that country's election is not a democratic election. After all, it is the verdict of the people. So people don't want you to continue in power. That is the verdict of the people. So they are ready to accept or they are accepting that election outcome. That is what make Indian election democratic. Is it clear? Now there are so many challenges. Every point is important. Challenges to free and fair election.
Candidates and parties with a lot of money may not be sure of their victory, but they do enjoy a big and unfair advantage over smaller parties and independents. In some parties of the country, in some parts of the country, candidates with criminal connections have been able to push others out of the electoral race and secure a ticket from major parties. Some families tend to dominate political parties. Tickets are distributed to relatives from these families. Very often, elections offer little choice to ordinary citizens, for both the major parties are quite similar to each other in politics and practice. Policies and practice. Smaller parties and independent candidates suffer a huge disadvantage compared to bigger parties. These challenges exist not only in India but also in many established democracies and are a matter of concern for democracy. Reforms in our electoral system are required to rectify these defects.
See, what are the challenges? Okay, we have seen India's election is a democratic election. Still, India faces certain challenges in order to make it free and fair. What are the challenges? The first, candidates and parties with a lot of money may not be sure of their victory, but they do enjoy big and unfair advantage over smaller parties and independents because they have lot of money. There is a challenge. It is known as money and muscle power. They use money as well as the Gundais. What is that word? They are goons. No, they that muscle power to win the election. The person who is not having this money power and muscle power, they lag behind. That is one challenge. Second is that in some parts of the country, candidates with the criminal connections. The other day you have told about so many such candidates from the jail also. They are contesting in the election. After that, they are still in the jail, but for namesake, they are the MLAs only. So still it is there.
What if they
They may be also.
then how will they complete their term from jail?
See, you know that Lalu Prasad Yadav from jail only contested the election.
Yeah, already.
One also, and he.
You can even make movies from jail.
Huh?
Sanjay Dutt even made a movie and he got out of the jail.
Sanjay Dutt was in jail.
Bro, what are you not aware of?
of?
He spent half his youth in jail because he did drugs and he was involved in some terrorist activity.
Terrorist activity that case, no, that 92, that.
2611, he was told that he was a part of even the train wreck and also what happened to the
That,
tower.
what is that gun exchange
Yeah.
or purchase or.
But he was not involved in it, he was he was funding the guns. That's the issue. He was a part of the gun exchange of the gun to that the terrorists also took care of. He was basically funding terrorists.
तूने संजय नहीं देखे हैं?
नहीं,
इसीलिए मुन्ना भाई है ना उसने जेल से
पता है मुझे वो संजय दत्त कौन है.
मुन्ना भाई उसने जेल से की थी.
मुन्ना भाई तो की थी
है कैसा? अरे I don't understand.
वो जेल में नहीं था तभी.
हाँ सारे शॉट्स तो जेल के बाहर के.
अरे जेल के अंदर नहीं जेल के बाहर आके मूवी शूट करने का वापस जेल में जाने का
ये तो नाइट स्टे हो गया जेल
शूट
में.
करते करते भागते तो.
मतलब सिर्फ रात में गेट में सोने के लिए बाकी दिन पूरा.
They are getting, some are getting all the facilities in jail also, no?
and then he got an award for that movie that's why he came out of the jail.
But actually it was
ऐसा
not,
होता है.
it was not proven.
मूवी में जो दिखाया मैं वही बोल रही हूँ.
अरे मूवी में तो कुछ भी
अरे संजू रियल मूवी है.
I mean, movie तो really है.
Anyways.
Okay. Second point you have understood, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Some families tend to dominate political parties. Tickets are distributed to the near and dear ones. Okay. So that did not give a fair chance for others who are sacrificing their life for the party. So that is not fair. Understood. Very often elections offer little choice to the ordinary citizens. I have told that other class, Some constituencies, 50 candidates also may be there, but they are not the real choice for the people. There is no difference between two major parties, policies and programs. So because of that, common people are not getting the real choice. Got it? Next is that the smaller and independent candidates suffer a huge disadvantage compared to the bigger parties. What is that disadvantage? They are not having power, they are not having money, they are not having that support. Yes. So because of that, they lose. But they are the real ones who have the quality and that they wanted to implement it. But if they get the power, then only they can do. So that kind of people are not getting the chance. These challenges exist not only in India, but also in many established democracies and are a matter of concern. Now, electoral reforms are very much essential. Earlier we have studied there should be a system of reward and punishment. Those who are doing the good things should be rewarded. And the most important suggestion as a teacher or as an individual I have to tell is that there should be an age limit for them. So the people who are having 80 years also contesting.
Yeah.
So there should not be that how much capacity they are having. Do they have?
But they do make up for good political leadership, people to rely on for the citizens.
See, let them sit at home and control it. Party leadership only, let them control it. But contesting the election and the other work should be given to the young, energetic people. Understood?
Yeah.
Okay, there should be a combination of young and old blood. But at the same time, what is that if certain things have to be implemented, the old method will not work.
Yeah, also their mindset does not work out with the young generation.
That is why
That's what happened in US, right? All the representatives there are too old and too outdated and have too much of an orthodox mindset. That is why the abortion laws and everything that causes
very bad laws they are.
they do not allow women to abort a child, and that is so unfair to the people who have to go through that.
So that is but one of the suggestion is that there should be age limit for a politician, and there should be some number of chances they can contest. This enormous number they are contesting, then they are losing, then again contesting. So this is mere waste of energy and money.
Also, government resources, it's a waste of government resources.
Then another suggestion, that means two suggestions we have seen. Another is that the public should be aware. They should always follow that political party and try to correct it through the medias and other means. Political this thing uprising should be there to restrict them from doing bad things. We have seen last few years that the protest of the farmers in Delhi.
Yeah. That was important to keep the government in check because
Yes.
the bills passed were not really in favor of whatever the people they were passed.
So such kind of public awareness, public protest, so each and everything no. So the things which should be controlled.
Yeah, this
way-
was essential to be controlled.
So that way, if the public are alert, it can be a fair election process. Okay, just come, that part is over, then we will see some election process and all.
And look for election process or electoral politics.
Yeah, anything, because you see,
You did not
remove that.
No, no, that's still going on.
61, 62. And worksheet part, definition only you have to write. Secret ballot, election manifesto, symbol.
61 and 62.
And 63 that worksheet definition. Something like
61, 62 and definitions.
There
63
is
or
work, 3 pen.
Okay, what is by-election?
By-election is when the term in between has to be ended due to reasons such as the political leader resigning or dying. And then the election only lasts for that particular period in which there is an absence of a leader.
That is only to that constituency. Okay. What is midterm election?
When entirely new elections need to be started and they will last the complete term and it is basically new elections.
Okay. General election or
Normal elections are
after 5 years. Okay. See, instead of the history next class, also we will continue with the political science. History, I think the pastoralists only left it, huh?
Yeah.
It's coming from pastoralists coming from India this time.
We have
But that is
for 5 years.
for only internal, no?
No, for us, our teachers are there from the exam.
So then that we will take or the same political science will take.
I think we'll do political science because it ends, however, in 2 lecture maximum. We started electoral last time, we are ending it now.
But then my exam is starting on the
11th of December.
Same, mine are starting 5 days.
Mine is on 15th and
2nd January.
But I have 80 marks for
Pen next.
So you